First time in a long time, but back like I never left. Taking each day as it comes, you know me, I don't read ahead. Watch me burn down everything, BDE on the TV set. When I'm in control on the road, you could never really know what's up next.
Hello. Braden Herrington here with Davie Portman for Up Next. You found us at postwrestling.com, Apple Podcast, Spotify, whatever podcast you choose to use with your own ears. And of course,
we are live on youtube.com/postwrestling. Hello, YouTube room. How are we doing?
Yes. Hello, YouTube room. It is Tuesday, April Fools, and we are here to talk about some NXT wrestling on Post Wrestling. Yes. Hello, everybody. April Fools. Did you get fooled today, Davey?
It's my favorite day of the year, April
No
Fools.
fooling.
We love April Fools here at Up Next. Don't we, Braden? Yeah. I'm only saying that because I listened to Rewind a Raw earlier, and it just starts off with John Pollock saying how much he hates April Fools.
He hates it.
So I'm going to embrace it on this channel. We love April Fools. We love fooling around. We love a bit of tomfoolery here at Up Next.
Yes,
we went through the 2.0 area, so we are the fools here. We've been doing this for a long time. But yes, no, I did not get fooled today.
Yes.
I don't think. Did you?
Did I get fooled? Can't get fooled again. I didn't get. Oh no, I got fooled because Arizona Iced Tea released the Rizzler Iced Tea, and I was like, "Hey, I would buy that for $1." And then they were like, they had to put out. So many people like me believed it because that doesn't sound like the most obscure thing. You like the Rizzler coming out with his own Arizona Iced Tea is the way today's going. That's a pretty like that's kind of normal. It sounds.
We've had rap snacks and all that kind of stuff.
Like we've had way worse than that. Yeah. So they eventually had to put out that no, that was not in fact true. And then they realized, hey, wait, maybe we should. So I watched. They will eventually put out the Riz tea coming soon.
Shouldn't it be? Wouldn't it make more sense if it was with Twizzlers rather than Arizona?
Twizzlers and the Rizzlers. That was what Jimmy Fallon did with him on the show.
Oh, really?
Another.
I try to avoid watching.
Okay. I know I saw another one, Canada's Wonderland here, a theme park just outside the city of Toronto. They announced that they were opening a second theme park on the Toronto island, which would make no sense whatsoever. But I'm sure some people may have bought it if they read it. Like,
would be cool though. That would be really cool. Yeah,
it'd be really cool. Yeah,
don't have to travel all the way to Vaughan. Just can hop on a boat across the island.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
I saw this other crazy one. This was probably the craziest April Fool's I saw. They're doing the Beatles cinematic universe and they cast all 4 of them. Isn't that bizarre? That's the craziest one I saw. Wait a second. Wait. It's real? Oh.
So that they are doing these 4 films, right?
Yeah, don't tell CM Punk. Who really doesn't like the Beatles, but did anyone ask for like the Beatles, the BCU? Like, cool. I love music. I love music movies. I love everything, but I feel like that's a bit much. Like 4 movies, then an end game of the Beatles.
You know what? I tend to actually hate biopics because it's like, how can you, like, especially if you're a fan of the person it's about, how can you tell this story, this whole person's life in 90 minutes, 2 hours, whatever? So I kind of like it. I kind of like the idea and just see what, I mean, I don't know how much material you're getting out of Ringo Starr. What, just his days voicing Thomas the Tank Engine or whatever. But no, I'm sure there's interesting stuff. I'm for it. I'd much rather biopics were like done as a mini series or something like that. I'm still burnt after Bohemian Rhapsody because I thought it was fucking awful. And yeah, so I'm kind of intrigued. I like this idea. I like this approach.
It's interesting.
The problem is, if the first one absolutely tanks, will the other ones actually happen?
Like, it sounds like they're releasing them all around the same time, which is also a risky move. Like, that's crazy. That's like a binge. You're going to watch all these movies all at once and then come together. Like, the Queen one, I know you're a big Queen fan. And like the Queen one, yeah, the guy won an Oscar. He was great. But we've talked about when it came out, like, it was so like not what you expected from like, I wanted to see him party, and
it was sanitary.
Crazy. Yeah,
wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was very like just clean, and it didn't feel, and they just messed around with the timeline and history so much. And when you know the actual story of the guy, it's like, why are you making up stuff? His actual story is interesting enough. You don't need to make up things. Like, I think in that the band split up, and then he tells them he has AIDS, so they do the Live Aid Wembley gig. I'm like, no, that's years ago. Like, none of that made sense. So I'm intrigued. I know it's what Barry Keoghan has been cast as one of them. I didn't recognize the other guys. But
they're in a bunch of stuff. Like, the other guys I've noticed from a bunch of other movies, and they're pretty good from like what I've seen. Cool. And I'm blanking on their names, but their faces are totally. One of the guys is in Fantastic Four. He's in Stranger Things. Like, I've definitely seen him before. And like some of these I love music biopics, even when they suck. Like the Bob Marley one, I was really disappointed in, but it's still like, it's a movie about Bob Marley. Like the Straight Outta Compton, one of maybe the stronger ones, which I'm sure is a lot of it's fictionalized. I'm still waiting on that Fleetwood Mac. I want that one. It's just going to be all of them fucking the whole time, but I'm for it. I want it. HBO Max to get on the Fleetwood Mac miniseries, but I'm kind of for a Beatles thing. I'm a fan of all music and docs and movies like this. So I'm willing to give it a chance. But this is the second time Beatles have been brought up in my timeline today, because apparently WWE superstar CM Punk hates the Beatles.
This is what we're leading with today on this.
This is the big breaking news story of this is WrestleMania 41 build can wait. NXT can wait. We need to talk about CM Punk hating the Beatles. Now, this could split the audience here. This could divide the room, because I feel like the Beatles maybe get a bad rap, even though they're like the OG like band that kind of, created the blueprint of all this shit. I mean, like, they're like four Elvises, but took that blueprint and then created their own blueprint that we still kind of see today. And in this interview that we're referring to, he's being interviewed by Jackie Redmond, and she's shocked and appalled that he's trashing the Beatles. He claims that they were just like a machine, that it's all fake and fabricated, which, like, don't they write their own songs? Like,
yeah, like as soon as he said that, like the word manufactured, like it's Lennon and McCartney. They were the machine behind this. Yeah. They wrote like so, and like the others had a hand as well, but mainly Lennon and McCartney wrote majority of these songs. And like, yeah, I don't know, like everyone has their tastes, but man, to say that like the Beatles, you wouldn't have so many huge bands like they were, as you said, the blueprint for this. And I often think as well, when people are like, oh, I don't like the Beatles, I often think, I don't think you've heard enough of the Beatles. Yes, Hey Jude can get on your nerves if you hear it over and over again. Like, there are a few songs that you hear played a lot, but when you listen to like the amount of music they did and the amount of varied music they did, and wasn't he saying like what they were trying to just hop on trends all the time? No, they were learning. They were creating. Trends. They were learning, getting ideas from all this different music and being experimental with that. And from that has created like so many music genres or bands who have taken their blueprint and worked with it. Like, it's, man, come on, like, you don't have to be a fan, but to trash them like that, it's like, come on.
True Brit right here, defending the Liverpool's finest. I like, I love the Beatles. I'm always, you know me, I'm a bit of a Doors guy more first, but the Beatles, like, yeah, you can't deny the like impact they've had on everything. Like, they're the most famous like band nonstop worldwide, and it will always be. Like, they were the first, essentially. Like, Elvis was on his own and he was figuring shit out, and then they went, what if there was 4 of them? And then like, sure, manufactured as in it was a machine in Beatlemania, but pretty he's fighting words. He's trying to get in with the hip kids, telling everyone he loves Doechii and I don't
Chapel
know,
Roan.
Chapel Roan, who are also like cool, but like
they're great. They're great,
like,
sure.
But you know how many producers and writers they use? A lot more than Lennon McCartney.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Genius.com tells me otherwise. So shout out to Beatles, Day Tripper, banging tune. Not just Hey Jude. They got a lot of heat and worldwide fame. So CM Punk, come on. Paul McCartney, better respond. You have 24 hours to respond to CM Punk. Would we have Punk without the Beatles? You know what I mean?
What's your favorite Beatles song?
I said Day Tripper. That one's like a single, not even on one of their classic records. But I always love that guitar lick and Ringo just shitting on the drums, literally, probably. That one comes to mind. Twist and Shout, because of Ferris Bueller's Day Off, always connects with me. All the big ones, but like the popular ones are obviously played out. But they got some good ones in there, honestly. Like lots of classic good tunes that you hear. What about you?
Like I'd say A Day in the Life. And
yeah, true.
While My Guitar Gently Weeps. Like,
I know what my favorite is. I Get High with a Little Help from My Friends. That one's definitely the. See, they're going through their phases.
Yeah, they've like, come on, they're incredible. They're incredible.
Welcome to our Beatles podcast. Should we review the?
And then he became the Yoko Ono for AEW, didn't he? Like, yeah.
Yoko. Oh, Yoko. Yeah, welcome to our Beatles pod. Maybe we'll review. I swear, John Away just or didn't.
I'm sure Way was fuming when he saw that because I
know he loves the Beatles.
Fan. Yeah,
I'm sure. Yeah, I need to hear Way's response to this controversy here with CM Punk. But more on this. Stay tuned. Post wrestling. Wei Ting, you have 24 hours to respond. But yes, welcome to Up Next. We will be talking about NXT. Hello, we are Braden and Davie. We also talk about a lot of other stuff, like you just heard, our ramblings to start this thing. Poisonrana.ca. Search Poisonrana in whatever social media, Facebook, Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram. Give us a follow and search us in your podcast app, the Poison Frog little logo there. We do so many other podcasts. Every Sunday we go live. We just went live on Sunday where I said I was bored of the WrestleMania build. Hold that thought. We'll get back to that. But we talked a lot about everything going on with AEWs and so much more on the free feed. John Cena Evil hits you with a shot in the dark where he talked all about Evolve, TNA, Ring of Honor, WoW, all the other wrestling in 15 minutes or less that you might not know about. He will fill you in. And on top of that, Siino and B Detroit have been working hard. They just released a new episode on the Poisonrana free feed of Wattup Doe, out now, where they talk all about the WrestleMania build, the Dynasty build, plus 2K25. I know Siino's talking about the Popeye horror movie he saw, lots of pop culture, and the guys are always making me laugh. So go check them out and send them some love because they're doing a hell of a job.
Yeah, absolutely. One of my favorite shows to listen to. Haven't got round to this one yet. It's on the docket for tomorrow for me, but love these guys. They're so easy to listen to. You feel like you're right in the room with them, chatting about wrestling, pop culture, everything. So always a good listen, and it's absolutely free. So give Poisonrana a follow. I got
an April Fool's for you now, Davie.
Okay.
Why was the frog late to work? His car got towed. Poisonrana.ca, everybody. For more like that, please support us. Because not only do we have a free feed, we have a Patreon where we do tons of shows. And we've done all this whole series on John Cena. The champ is here. We've been going through all of John Cena's title reigns, title wins, etc. We've done 7 episodes with some great guests. It's all in the back catalog there. But Davie, we have maybe the biggest one yet, meaning the shortest title win and reign yet. But we have a friend of the show joining us that you've set this up for us that we're recording this week. But you know what? I'm going to release it for free. going to release it to everyone this week after we record this. But what's going on with episode 8?
Yeah, we're going to be joined by Jason Solomon, voice of House of Glory Wrestling and long-term host of Solomonster's Sound Off. He's going to be joining us to talk about the 8th title reign of John Cena. This, as you mentioned, very short one. This is the build to Elimination Chamber 2010. Heel Batista joining with Vince McMahon. Sheamus is the champion defending inside the chamber. This is going to be an interesting one. So we'll be looking at the few episodes of Raw between the TLC event and Elimination Chamber to build up to this event and the Elimination Chamber match and post-match itself.
Yes, so definitely looking forward to chatting. We've been having so much fun going through the John Cena, just his whole career, really. And now with things ramping up with him and his heel turn in WrestleMania and the 17 title reign, it feels proper that we're doing this quest. And every month we're going through. So this is going to be a banger, but I'm going to give it to patrons first, but then I will be releasing it to everyone to listen to for free. So if you like what you hear, it's $5 to become a friend. You'll get all the Champ is Here. You'll get all the movie reviews. We just reviewed This Is Spinal Tap with our family member, Chris Leon, who picked that funny 80s rockumentary. We recently talked about Turning It Up to 11. We talked about Drummers Vanishing. We talked all about the funny gags and the funny songs. A pretty great movie that we had a nice little chat with Chris. Had some giggles for sure. But then we reviewed WrestleMania 18 recently. We'll be doing a best match ever Triple H and so much more. So check us out, Poisonrana.ca for links to the Patreon. And it's only $5. It's WrestleMania season. You want to buy us a pint? You can by going to patreon.com/poisonrana. Thank you. Welcome to my TED Talk there today. Before some NXT, we're not going live this Sunday because it's Dynasty. But we can talk about some Raw because on Sunday, I said, man, what's going on with this WrestleMania build? I need something. I need some oomph. I need some bite. I need some hot sauce on that. And I feel like my prayers were answered, Davie, because I thought there was some heat packed into this episode of Monday Night Raw from London, the last of our 3 p.m. Raws. But where do we begin? I guess at the beginning with John Cena and his bars, his cooking, as he said.
Yeah, we had another face-to-face with Cena and Cody. Cody doing the classic sort of, oh, I'm sure you're going to make fun of this, that, this, and that. And then Cena face. Yeah, exactly.
It's 8 Mile.
It's 8 Mile.
You know everything about me. Essentially is what he did, right? That's what I kept thinking. He's B-Rabbit right here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then Cena going on to be like, I've never buried talent. I bury mediocrity, and just putting out there that Cody is just, a clone, just manufactured, trying to take his spot, all that. It ended with physicality. Cody finally getting his hands on Cena. I liked it. I think this feud needed this. I still kind of have my same criticisms about the lack of talking about The Rock. Like Cody actually mentioned him this time, which was good, but still, we were led to believe that Cody and Rock after Mania last year are buddies, and he let this guy attack him as well. So that is still irritating me because that just doesn't make sense why it is not being addressed. That aside, I thought the back and forth was excellent between these two this week.
Yeah, I feel like I know what you mean because afterwards I'm like, okay, well, we still need to know what's going on with The Rock, but I guess they're dragging that out or whatnot. But part of me was thinking, maybe London would be a good time to bring him out, but maybe he's busy dealing with Martin Scorsese.
I don't even need to see him, but Cody needs to be like, yo,
reference it.
Why have you joined The Rock and why did you attack me? Which has never been asked, which is it does bother me, but I did enjoy the back and forth.
I really loved Cody saying, John, you're my hero, but you're a piece of shit. That got a huge pop out of me. But also the billionaires line from Cena referencing, I build empires for them and you just take their money from their kids. That was pretty good. That was a zinger. I thought it was a good back and forth, and I think Cena getting Crossroads is a good first step to hopefully we do get a moment with The Rock coming in. And I mean, again, I still am waiting for R-Truth to get beat up. So we need that to happen before WrestleMania as well. Just the heat, the booze that would just echo through wherever they are. But I like the back and forth. It was needed where they were both like going toe to toe, not just Cena talking again and then Cody coming out after. It was better that they went back and forth. So I thought that was pretty good. Cody doing his best Eminem.
What I liked about this is, for me, it showed clearly that Cody is the guy and is the right guy, because we've seen this kind of promo before in it takes me back to the the Roman Reigns John Cena feud when they first did that, and Cena was like, I am back here because you can't do your job, as in like you're not the top guy, like the company isn't thriving with you, like this is like big dog Roman Reigns.
I remember,
and I remember just thinking, wow, he just absolutely eviscerated him there. Whereas this time round, Cena got some big lines in on Cody, but I didn't think Cody seemed any weaker afterwards. I wasn't like, it's Cena cooked Cody, but he doesn't feel any less than, which we have seen and has kind of been addressed in this, about how anytime someone's been kind of maybe possibly going near taking Cena's spot, like Cena's buried him in the way of, not just winning in matches, but just completely destroying them on the mic on the way in and the way out. I didn't feel that this time. And that made me think, Cody is the right opponent. Cody is the right guy to be the quarterback of WWE right now. And I liked Cody kind of bringing up, you were the guy for years, but WWE was shit when you were the guy. Is essentially what he said. It was so shit that I left. I left and I took that billionaire son's money.
I liked this back and forth. It still had me having some questions like, I wish, nitpicking is like, I wish we did incorporate why you joined with The Rock. I mean, you clearly had The Rock did a hand sign. The Rock threw up some gang signs and you knew what to do. We need to address this of how you set this up. And what's Travis Scott doing?
Or in a way, like, if you're not ready to pay off the thing with The Rock yet, as much as I love the angle at Elimination Chamber, did you necessarily need to do it? Like, could you not have just had Cena attack Cody and this be Cena's like heel turn, and then maybe get to the Rock stuff when you're ready to do it? But it does feel like they shot the angle and now Dwayne isn't necessarily around to kind of further that story. And it would help if he was there. It's a massive like plot hole in this whole thing. And this is your main story going in.
We do need a bit, like, we need him to show up. I think we will get an appearance before. And think like either if Cena, I don't know if Cena winning as a heel is like the big heel moment. I think him winning back as a babyface before he retires, like, is
that would be the 18th.
Yeah, true. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. I just feel like either way, Cena winning or Cena losing, the end of WrestleMania night 2, which this is easily the main event of both nights, like it'll be a big moment, either like him winning or him losing, but it'll be like, wow, look what happened. Like, I feel like it'll be good. And I think either way it'll be good, but I just don't think him winning as a heel is necessarily the right move. But I really enjoyed this, and they needed to do this, and they still need to incorporate The Rock, but I thought this was maybe the best showing thus far. And Cena just hates us for all these years from being so mean to him. So it's all our fault, really. Another thing that really needed some heating up, and it got heated up and the sauce all over it, and the sauce being Uso blood, because Gunther absolutely murdered Jimmy Uso. I think everyone, including us, every other internet wrestling, everyone's like, oh man, you know what they need to do? Gunther just needs to kill Jimmy. Well, we all got our wish. Sorry, Jimmy, you had to take this one here, but what a great angle. We were talking about on our Champions here, 09 Randy Orton and this and that. Like, it gave me like flashbacks to when Randy Orton tied up Triple H and beat up Stephanie and all that. Like, here you have Jey Uso just cuffed to this ring here, and Gunther just kills him, man. Like, that was one of the bloodiest moments in recent time in WWE. Like, even some of the matches aside, like, he is covered in this dude's blood, puts it in his mouth, he spits it out. Like, this was one of the more violent angles we've seen, especially since the Netflix era, and I totally loved it. This is exactly what we needed. WrestleMania season, everyone is on either the Yeet guy shouldn't get the match, and the other half are like, fuck yeah, let's go with it. This had to be the turning point. Like, look, this is some great stuff here. Like, he killed his brother, man. Come on, cinema. Isn't that what you guys say?
You know, when blood's overdone, it starts to lose its meaning. And I think because WWE has started to use it sparingly, it means so much more. And this whole story's needed it, because this has been one of the matches that has suffered from too much build. This has been going on since before Saturday night's main event at the end of the last year. Like, we're talking like 4 months of this feud. And it's been very samey every week. It's been Gunther just beating up Jey Uso, attacking him, the Jey Uso confidence thing. This has elevated this feud so much. And if you're doing blood here, I think you need to do it at Mania. And I think that's how you make this match feel more than, say, the Saturday night's main event or their IC title matches they had on Raw a year or so ago. Like, you have Jey already going in as the underdog, but just a battered, pulverized, bloody mess who finally overcomes Gunther and gets the win. And I think it will be so much more impactful, and especially on that big stage. I feel you've got to, if you're using blood with Jimmy, you've got to use it in the match as well. And I think it will elevate it, and it kind of needs it. Like, I like Jey Uso. He's like, I think people give him a bit too much shit. Like, he's a good wrestler. He's not a great wrestler, but I get why he's in this spot. So I think you do need a little bit of smoke and mirrors for this match. Jay's like managed to master like the end stretch. Like, I think to his matches with Bron Breakker when he won the IC title, his Saturday night's main event match with Gunther, like the last 5 minutes when you've got the near falls and stuff, like, are great. It's the other stuff leading into it. And I think if you just have more of an epic beat down by Gunther, and then Jey finally firing up and he's a bloody mess, lands those super kicks, lands that splash and everything, and wins, I think it will be a great moment and will make this match mean so much more. So yeah, I love this. I love this angle.
Yeah, I loved it so much. I love Gunther. He's coming to his own. It's just crazy to see how far he's come, especially in the London crowd. Like, I'm sure that was it just felt like a big moment. And anytime you attack someone's blood, literally here, brother, and right in front of you, great storytelling. Now Jey Uso needs to kill him. It's going to be a grudge match now. I just thought it was one of the more violent angles, just of how much blood was shown. Obviously, maybe not that intent. They didn't intend for that much blood, but homie was leaking, so he's just wiped it all over it. Like, Gunther was covered in it. Like, it was pretty violent, and I'm here for it. So this really needed it. And it totally like spiced things up. Turn the heat on. Let's go. Let's make people invest again. And the people who don't believe, like, let's show them why. And that's exactly, I thought that they nailed it. One of the better things to going into WrestleMania instantly is like, how do you not like this? If this is a movie or a series, how do you not cheer for this guy? His brother just got fucking killed in front of him. So like, we need to see him get his. And I don't know if you saw Rikishi posting. I don't know if this has anything to do with this or any correlation, but he's been posting, hey, any big booty dancers in Vegas? We need lots of big booty dancers. So I don't know if that's for Rikishi's own, WrestleMania plan weekends things, but I think that might be for Jey
Rikishi's
Uso's
boys with the Godfather. Like, why is he tweeting this now? He's got a phone number that he can just call up for some big booty mamas for WrestleMania.
He doesn't run cheetahs anymore, so maybe
he's
that's
got
why.
Connections. He's got connections.
I imagine that is for Jay's entrance. Like, I bet he's gonna have some big crazy thing with his theme song and everything. So I expect it to be a big moment, and I do think son of Rikishi is gonna win the big one at WrestleMania now after this really, really hot angle. Really, really loved it. And it's exactly what I feel like was missing out of like a big title thing. And I think maybe proved a lot of the people who are like the anti Jey Uso side, like, hey, let's play it out. Let's see it play out. Come on, let's go.
We had the main event of IYO versus Rhea for the title. Bianca as special guest referee and what an outfit for this match. Best referee outfit since
next to
Shawn
Shawn.
Michaels.
Yeah,
next to Shawn, exactly. But yeah, I think this was all very predictable. We knew it would be a schmoz finish. We know we're going to get a triple threat down the line. It still hasn't been announced yet. But you know what? I thought it was executed pretty well. I actually really got into this match. And last week, I really didn't like their brawl they did because it felt so choreographed, you know, the three-way brawl they had. Whereas this, I kind of, there was a bit of clunkiness in the match, but in a good way. I thought, like, it felt like a fight. It felt like a struggle. And I thought the stuff with Bianca worked. Like, this is kind of wrestling triple threat playbook 101, but I actually thought it was executed pretty well. And I'm more amped for this match. I thought Rhea and IYO, like what they showed, like if you can get that in this triple threat, and Bianca is obviously fantastic as well. My interest definitely heightened after this week's, I thought.
Yeah, like this story has been kind of just a little like paint by numbers, and the match was fine, but I think when it comes to bell time, this triple threat could go down as maybe stealing the weekend. I just think these are the three top women, in my opinion, in WWE, and I might not necessarily like how we got here. Is this all just a weird way to get the title back on Rhea Ripley, which I kind of hope it's not, as much as I think, you know, she's one of the big stars still. I'm just interested. I just will. This is the one I'll put everything aside, because once the bell rings, like, I'm locked in for this one. This is one of the ones that on paper should be really, really good. So let's see what these three can do, because I've been waiting for this one ever since that episode of NXT. Remember when they were all standing in the ring together?
Yeah.
We've had some moments with these three. So definitely looking forward to this one when it comes to it. The build has been whatever, but at least we got the ref outfit. So.
And another match set for WrestleMania, Logan Paul versus AJ Styles. And Logan coming out, telling this crowd that have spent an ungodly amount of money on these tickets for Raw that they're poor. I'm sorry, but Logan, I don't know if you know how much rent is in London, England. And I don't know if you know how much the pound is compared to the dollar. And I don't know if you know how much these tickets are. But yeah, I wouldn't say
that
anyone who's managed to get into this building are poor. But yeah, kind of bit awkward back and forth. I felt AJ almost got a little thrown by the rowdiness of this crowd. But the match is set, and you know what? I think AJ is a good opponent for Logan. And I gotta say, I love that pulverizer, that finisher Logan's pulling off. I think it looks great.
Yeah, it's I've seen it online. Someone figured out, like, it's from some older Japanese wrestler who used to use this move, but it looks pretty cool. Like, I thought it was a bit of an awkward, like a bit of a weird back and forth, but at the same time, like, if anyone's Logan Paul in ring isn't bad. I think he's a good heel. The talking about being poor thing was pretty funny, considering just how fucking expensive tickets are these days. It's like, no, they aren't really, man. And I know it's going to be weird them promoting Max with his new show. I saw that him and his brother showed up to Times Square, and I think they were the only ones who showed up to promote this show. But like, they're going to reference WWE on Max, and it's interesting. I wonder if we'll see promotion from AEW, which I'm sure Logan Paul would get a kick out of, having the competition being promoting like a non-wrestler essentially. But I think he does a good job of being easy to dislike. And AJ, like, he's a good worker. Like, this should be a really fun match, actually, because Logan's not bad in the ring. But then there's this little devil in the back of my head, like, oh man, just like, you've done everything now. Just, I haven't said it in a while, but go be all elite with your friends. I'm happy.
AJ, no, he's never leaving. He's
never leaving. Look, you work too hard to get here. He's never leaving. But at the same time, like, while we have you, like, I would like to see, like, so there's more chance of other people coming here and tangling with him than him going elsewhere. But
bear in mind that AJ only very recently came back from injury as well. Like, I think this is a feud you can build up very quickly, and it makes sense, and it will be like an entertaining match on the night. Like, this is obviously one of the lower card matches on the shows, but I think it makes sense. And otherwise you would just have AJ in this this multi-man for the IC title, which it looks like we're getting with Finn, Penta, Braun, and Dominic. And I think this features him a bit more, you know, like it's going to get him more eyes just being against Logan Paul. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I don't mind this. It maybe if AJ had been back a bit longer, he might be in a bit more of a prominent position, but I'm okay with this. And as I said, I do like that finish. I need to see how AJ can counter it into the Styles Clash somehow,
some way. Like down the line, these two would also be a good tag team, just because I feel like Logan Paul has picked up on a lot of like high flying moves and like as we've seen, AJ before this injury heard the complaints of like, oh, he's washed, and then puts on some really good stuff. So I think that when it comes to the match, it'll actually be really good. But I'm sure people are like, oh, we're wasting AJ. AJ's not had the best WrestleMania. Like WrestleMania full stop sometimes is not necessarily like the best of the best. But like I feel like this one could potentially be a pretty fun match. And I suspect Logan Paul brings out a celebrity. Would you imagine it's Jake Paul in honor of sponsoring this new reality show and the whole Netflix fight last year? And like I would imagine Jake is, you know, on his side.
Who's the other one he has?
He's got a few now. Well, he brought Speedy out last year,
yeah,
right? But he's brought out some KSI. I don't know if he's still his buddy, but
that's right. Yeah, KSI.
I feel like AJ and Logan Paul would be best friends. Maybe that's why they should be a tag team. The Logan Paul community, the Paul community. Yes. There you go. Yeah, join it. Another thing, yeah. Anything else from Raw? Because I loved the weird tag team of Braun Breaker and Penta teaming together, most because I popped for the Steiner Bulldog double team, but Penta doing the inverted sling blade Bulldog off Braun Breaker. Oh my God, chef's kiss. You know, Penta was like, holy shit, you're the Steiner's kid. I'm doing the Bulldog off the dude's shoulders. Like that was so good. But where are we going with this IC thing? We've been talking. Is it going to be multi-man ladder or something?
I think just a 4-way. I don't think a ladder. I see the ladder maybe reserved for the tag team. And I actually don't want to see a ladder involved with this. I think a 4-way could be more fun. I do see it being Dominic stealing this win here. I just think out of the 4, it kind of, in a way, makes the most sense. You're driving that division between Dominic and Finn. And if you are having a new member of the Judgment Day, that could be how you debut them, by having them come out to help Dominic. And then that frees up. I don't think Penta is someone that necessarily needs a title right now. I think his aura and that is enough. That I don't think a title really adds much to that at this point. And I do think you want to free up Braun Breaker for the world title scene. Braun and like you've got history with both Jay and Gunther. So whoever wins that match, I could see you moving to that feud pretty quickly because, you know, Jay beat Braun for the IC title. They traded back and forth. Braun Breaker is one of 3 men who's ever pinned Gunther. So that's a match you can do as well. So I think you need to get this title off him. And I think Dominic kind of makes the most sense.
I mean, you could also have Penta actually joining Judgment Day. Like Dominic asks, hey, maybe you should join. And maybe they realize it's 3 of them against Braun and one of them walks out with the title. But either way, I've been loving Penta on WWE programming and Braun's been pretty fun. But it was the weirdest tag team that I'm like, yeah, can we get that again? Like, can we get a tag run out of these two? Because that was the weirdest. Penta and Braun Breaker. The Bulldog, I have seen enough.
The Penta Dogs, what are we calling them?
Yeah, true. We'll work on that. But
Lucha Dogs.
Wow, there you go. The Lucha Dogs. How has no one done that? I know Lindsay Dorado is the Lucha Cat sometimes, but yeah. Very, very, very cool. I thought Raw definitely stepped up. I'd say the last little while, I'm like, we need to heat some things up. And I think some of the main programs felt a bit elevated, especially Cody Cena, especially Gunther and Jey Uso. And I guess we'll have to see what happens with SmackDown and the stuff with like Roman, Seth, and Punk. It's crazy. There's 3 of the biggest stars. It still feels a little weird that it's the 3-way, but I think with the next few weeks, we could have some fun stuff with the 3 of them. Hopefully we get some callbacks to a lot of stuff, and I'll stick with my Seth Rollins wins and walks out with the wise man and goes on a news, drops the funny pants, the MC Hammer pants, the fucking Ninja Turtle costumes and just become serious.
I think it makes the most sense. And like I was thinking about this. This is really like, as much as you'd say like Roman and Punk are the bigger stars, this is actually Seth's story. Like for a long time, it's been like, think going back way before like War Games, with Seth being like, no, under no circumstances will I ever help out Roman Reigns. And like simultaneously having the beef with Punk along the way. It kind of is his story. So I think he should win this. And I think joining with Paul Heyman, I did see someone put together a compilation of all the times Heyman screwed over Punk or screwed over Roman Reigns. Right. And there's just one interaction between him and Seth Rollins, like shaking hands back in the Authority days. So that was pretty cool. I do see that being the way we go. But
I think it'd be big story coming out. And then you can push Seth as this, I guess a heel at this point, because he screwed over two of the bigger baby. Like everyone's a baby face, but also not. Like everyone's a bit of a dickhead to each other, which I think can make it a lot more interesting. So hopefully they ramp that up too. But yeah, I thought this was a really good Raw, and they stepped up with some of the stuff that made me go, okay, this is what it should feel like. This is, turn the gas on. And I felt like they definitely did that. So that was pretty good. And I'm getting excited.
One more thing before we go into NXT. Bret Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin from WrestleMania 13, that is not the match, has been announced for the Hall of Fame, the first match to be inducted.
This is pretty funny. If you've listened to us for the past little while, we like to plug our patreon.com/Poisonrana. But for years, we've been doing a series called Best Match Ever, and we've been looking at different best of wrestlers, best of gimmicks, best of different things all throughout. We've done so many of these shows. Definitely check out the catalog, because we've covered this match a few times, actually, when it comes to Bret Hart, when it comes to Austin and WrestleMania show stealers, etc. We've looked at this match many times, and a few times on these podcasts in the past, we have joked like, hey, wouldn't it be funny if they did like matches that went into the Hall of Fame? And I think wrestling fans unanimously would pick this one. I think this is one that comes to mind pretty much right away. There's a bunch that do, and I'm sure we'll see them in the next little while. But we kind of been joking about this for a while, and then they announced that it is. So does this mean Bret gets another ring? 3 rings? So. Nice. Don't tell Bill Goldberg that. But I feel like this is pretty cool. Like, this is the big one. This is a huge match that everyone.
I don't think anyone's going to argue about this being the first one.
Oh, absolutely.
I think it's just such an iconic match. I don't know anyone who doesn't like this match. I think it makes a whole lot of sense. Who inducts it? Does Ken Shamrock induct this match?
True, he's the ref or the guest.
He's the ref,
right?
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think this match makes a whole lot of sense to go in first. What other matches would you see going in the future?
TLC 2, Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, WrestleMania 25.
Yeah.
We just talked about Dark Side on Poisonrana this past Sunday, but obviously the Hell in the Cell, Mick Foley, Undertaker, King of the Ring. Let's see here. Punjabi prison match, obviously. Great Khali, Batista, I think it is. I forget. Or is that Big Show? Michael Cole versus Jerry the King Lawler, WrestleMania.
Oh yeah.
The DDT Water Park match from a few years ago. The list could go on. What about you? We've talked about them on our best match evers. We've talked about the best of the best.
I think this makes the most sense for the first one. I think I could see Hell in a Cell. Taker, Foley going in, Taker, Shawn, definitely. Yeah. But it is a way you could maybe induct matches that, maybe the talent isn't necessarily going to go in solo to the Hall of Fame anytime soon. Take like I think they're all pretty much in it now, but like a TLC 2. I think it's just Christian that's not actually. Oh no, and the
Hardy Boys. Yeah.
Hardy Boys, yeah. But no, I think this is a great idea and actually changes up the Hall of Fame a little bit. I like this idea a lot.
Again, self self-plugging, but like we love to nerd out, and we do reviews and ratings and all sorts of fun stuff. So if you've never listened to a best match ever, there's a bunch of them have been released for free, but we have like a lot of them in our back catalog. And I think this is a great idea. And there's so many matches that we'll go to through the years that we will add to this. What gets added first? Randy Orton, John Cena, Iron Man, or Shawn Brett, Iron Man? We'll have to see as the years go on. One day we'll figure out which one's better, which one goes in the Hall of Fame first. If you are going to WrestleMania this year in Vegas, I do also got to shout out our friends Demand Lucha, because they are doing a traveling show, a taste of Toronto, visiting Vegas. And if you are interested and you want something to do, go to Demand Lucha or luchamarket.com. Search Demand Lucha in your social media, because we go to all their shows. They're doing a show at the Phoenix here in Toronto. And if you're a Torontonian, you'll know how important that is. A famous venue that was almost shut, but the people said, no way. So historical landmark, the Phoenix, and Demand Lucha is doing a show in May. You'll definitely find us there. But we'll talk about it in a few weeks. But they are doing a show Vegas weekend with Gringo Loco, Santana Jackson, the whole lot there will be there. So if you're going and you want to support, that is how you can do it. Which leads me to our super chat here from Jake from the Windy City, who writes in, super chats are welcome here at Post Wrestling. Lads, which of the collective events at Mania weekend are you interested in watching? I'll admit Janela's Spring Break and the Clusterfuck are my guilty pleasures. Have you seen what's been added to Spring Break, Dave?
Oh, the seniors match?
Oh my God. The Warlord, Mike Jackson, Tommy Rich, George South, Ricky Morton, and Doug Gilbert in a senior
It's just an episode of AEW, isn't it?
No, come on. I think that's pretty funny. It's also Janela versus Sabu in his last match, if Sabu chooses to show up for it. Those are always really fun. I think that's the safe bet. For me, I would recommend DDT. I'm definitely butthurt that I'll be missing Suzuki versus the Doll. Definitely looking forward to watching that one as well. But there's some fun stuff. It's weird because WWE now has like really taken over. Like, I know it's Vegas, but it looks like Wale Mania is now announced on Netflix, which is fucking sick, which is way more accessible to watch for everyone. But they got the roast, they got the after parties, like they're really ramping up. And I feel like, I don't know if it's necessarily hurting the indies this year, but I feels like WWE is like not letting them get most of the buzz, you know?
I'm going to say for me, and I'm going to sound like a negative Nancy here, I don't think there's going to be a whole lot else I'm going to watch this year. It's different when I'm there and go to an event or two. Like the ECW event last year was kind of a bucket list thing. But I do think really since AEW's been around, I have less interest in going to some of these indie shows because the talent that you would have got on those shows are now in either AEW, NXT, or WWE. So I think it's more going to be matches after the fact that I go and watch that people have talked about. I'm not going to have a great deal of time that week between all the Mania stuff and working a shoot job and that kind of thing to watch some of the things. But yeah, there'll be, if I hear about matches, I'll check it out. But I can't say I'm going to, Bloodsport never does it for me. I know it's cool that you've got all these people from different promotions there. It's not my thing. So I'm very unlikely going to watch that. Maybe some stuff from DDT, maybe this battle royal from the GCW.
We need the dog.
I don't think there's a whole lot this year that I'm probably going to be checking out.
I definitely will accept anyone who recommends matches because I'll be sad to see Santana Jackson in his hometown of Vegas. I'm a big fan. He's my favorite indie guy right now. So I'll definitely cherry pick a lot of the stuff, but still support. But Davey, you are right. Like back in the day, Ring of Honor and all the indies, like that's where you would go because we didn't have a lot of the other outlets. So it does feel like WWE has taken away, not just WWE and AEW, I guess, have kind of not killed the indies, but the buzz maybe isn't as big. And maybe that's not fair to say, but I still will be checking some things out. Always a lot of fun. So thank you, Jake. I hope that, and Jake, anything you watch over WrestleMania weekend, let us know. We'll have to check out. There's so much going on as always. And it's like a festival, right? Like this time, even more so with the WWE after parties and all that, and Stand and Deliver at 9:30 in the morning.
Oh yeah.
Does this just keep getting changed every week, or are they messing with me? Because I feel like every few weeks it's like, okay, it's been another half hour, another earlier, bumped up earlier. Like these poor wrestlers are gonna have to be there the night before, like while SmackDown's on.
Like Hall of Fame's probably finishing like a couple of hours before, because they're gonna have to get there like early as well to get ready and set. It's not like they're arriving at 9:30, is it? They're gonna be there from 7 probably.
That's crazy. Yeah. They're gonna party hard right after, as soon as that's over. Oh my god, I can't believe it. But for our entertainment, yeah, that's so. What would that be our time? Like 12?
They're 3 hours behind. Yeah, so 12:30.
So if the show starts at 10, then yeah, okay. So like 1.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Well, I think they're saying the show actually starts at 9:30, aren't they?
That's okay. I don't know. We'll have to see. Yeah. Stay tuned to Up Next. A little bit of housekeeping. I did mention this Sunday is AEW Dynasty. We won't be going live for Poisonrana on Sunday because
we said we were going live on Sunday.
We also earlier already said that we weren't, but we said that we're going to be going
talk offline because we talked about this.
We will not be live next Tuesday. It is our friend Graham's birthday, so we'll be taking the Tuesday night off, but we will be live some point during the day Wednesday. Again, follow the socials, and Wednesday we'll talk all about some NXT obviously and some AEW Dynasty and a little bit of a double shot. So no Up next Tuesday live, but you will catch us during the day Wednesday. Time probably to be determined, but I could probably ballpark around a 2 or something like that. But again, follow all the socials as always. So no Up next Tuesday, but we still hitting you with the show. Definitely looking forward to Dynasty and some of the matches on that card. And we'll talk all about it next Wednesday. But I think now we can talk about some NXT.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about some NXT from April 1st, 2025. We have all the hype for Stand and Deliver, and we are going into a recap of last week. 2 titles, Steph, who walked out still double champion, which leads us to our opening segment. Stephanie Vaquer, double champ, comes out, both titles in hand. It shows clips of her recently at the UFC Fight Night in Mexico City. Looked like she had a lot of fun. And I saw her hitting her finisher on some UFC fighters, and even they were like, wow, this finisher is not really effective. No, that didn't really happen. But she did hit her finisher on them. She's in the ring with our general manager, Ava. The young rock is here. And Ava says that, Stephanie, you defended both of these things, but we need to be fair. And both these titles need to be defended. And it's just not fair if you were to continue to do it alone. Yes, the crowd picked up what they were hitting us with, as did us, the viewers. And we went, wait, you're not saying what you're saying, right? She is. She says, Stephanie, we sadly have to come to terms that you have to relinquish one of the titles. So Stephanie relinquishes the North American Championship. And Ava says that the title is now vacant, but it will be defended for a new champion at Stand and Deliver. In the way the title was, brought in the first place. A 6-woman ladder match, and we will have qualifiers starting tonight. Stephanie says, tonight I give up my North American title, but I still have my women's championship, and I get to choose who I'm going to face at Stand and Deliver. Before she can go on, Jordynne Grace comes out. She wants to challenge Stephanie, but she's interrupted by Jada Parker. And Jordan's like, hey, I think Jada says, didn't I drop you last week? Like, why are you out here again before me? And Grace says, oh, don't worry. You fumbled. I'll be the rightful contender. And Stephanie says, figure it out. So these two start to fight. They all go at it. And a security guard here gets thrown by Jordynne Grace here. Some huge holy shit chant. This guy went flying from Jordynne Grace. So Jada and Jordynne continue fighting. We'll see them fighting throughout the night. But I imagine it's one of these two facing Stephanie, and I imagine Jada versus Grace coming soon. And I think it's announced for next week. And
or knowing the way this WrestleMania Stand and Deliver season is, triple threat match. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I kind of hated this. Especially since you've had her defend the 2. Like, they kind of just it seemed like they just did that so she can break that record of defending both on the same night or whatever. But like, I get it. You might not want her to do double duty at Stand and Deliver, but I just find it so lazy. And we've had this happen a few times. We had this with Keith Lee. We had it with like the War Raiders when they moved up to the main roster and they were still champions. They just vacated it. It makes the title feel like nothing. It's like, oh, just give this one up. And I feel like you could have maybe just had Fallon win it last week.
Yeah, why didn't we?
Or do a multi-person match. If you don't want Stephanie to be pinned, do some sort of multi-man match leading into Stand and Deliver, or just do 2 matches at Stand and Deliver. You know, you can do an injury angle right early on for Stephanie to take her out the ladder match and someone else wins it. And then the whole story throughout the night, will Stephanie be able to defend her women's championship? And you do that sort of thing. It's just lazy. And the crowd didn't like it. Like, get the feeling they didn't like, Stephanie didn't really like this either. Just not a fan of it. I like what they're doing with Jada and Jordan as kind of, you know, both going for this title. I don't want a triple threat. I do want to see Jordan Grace versus Stephanie for Stand and Deliver. I just wish they could have been a bit more creative with dropping this title.
They totally should have had Fallon last week with, like, in all the false finishes with Fatal Influence. You could have easily had them, like, over the top cheating to win, allowing Ava to start the show like, hey, you cheated, so therefore you're going to be defending in against 5 other women in the ladder match. Boom. Done.
You could have even had like Jordan Grace, like, in trying to help Stephanie and fight off the others, kind of cost Stephanie the match. And then that can add some animosity going to the women's title or something like that.
Yeah. It just feels like cheap. It feels also like making the title feel worthless, making Fallon look kind of not great. Like, the whole thing is just bad. The booing, it made me go, really? That's kind of soft. It's cool we're getting this ladder match, but at the same time, like, kind of weird how we got here. So in classic NXT fashion, a title is vacated because Stephanie just suffering from her success here. It's too strong. You can't be double champ. Come on. What did you make of Mandy Rose on social media in the last week or so, talking about how I think her words were, it's pathetic on how WWE didn't showcase her as the recent double champion when the Twitter or /X autocorrect said you were never double champion. The title was vanquished immediately upon winning it. So
yeah, it was a unification, just like Carmelo, you know, unifying the North American and the Cruiserweight title. And we've seen unifications all the time, haven't we?
Yeah.
Sorry, so Mandy. Yeah, just fucking go away, Mandy Rose.
I know, like, Mandy, I get where you're coming from, and, you know, I can't think anyone's would want to watch Mandy wrestle again. Hopefully not on NXT. Kind of going back to, I don't like the thing they're doing with this North American title. It's cool we're getting this ladder match. They'll stack it. It'll be fun, but I do think Stephanie versus Grace is the right direction for Stand and Deliver. Put Jada in the ladder match. Like, after she loses, she's like, what can I do? And then somehow qualifies. We see Trick Williams earlier. He says, Oba, let's talk about it. And he says that he's going to meet Oba. He's going to call him out later on in the ring. We see earlier Oba showing up, and he says, I don't care what Trick says. He will learn tonight. You don't call out the ruler. So they will come face to face later tonight. When we come back from break, we see all the NXT women in the locker room, the classic ladies' night on Tuesday night. And they're all talking about this ladder match. Now they're all excited, like, ooh, I'm going to qualify. I'm going to qualify. Lola says, I'm going to qualify. When Cora Jade says, oh, you're going to win the North American Championship? Why? So you can just shake your ass with it, which, you guessed it, starts a backstage bickering and brawling. The women backstage is just, you know, the parking lot we know is not safe, but neither is the women's locker room in NXT.
They really need a few different. You need a heel and babyface locker room for the women here in NXT.
This is the only one with the TV, though. This is the only one with the TV.
This is
Netflix.
Don't they all have their iPads anyway?
Yeah, they're all, you know, Gen Zs. They're fine.
Yeah, this is too much. You can't expect all these women to stay in a room all night and get along because they bicker a lot.
It's like Monsters Ball. You leave them all locked up in a room.
Yeah.
No food, no water, and expect them to fight. We need that. Bring it back. We go to our next match. This is our first qualifying match for the North American ladder match at Stand and Deliver. We see Zarya coming out with her tag partner, Sol Ruca, ringside. Zarya will be taking on Lash Legend here. And like I said, the winner will go on to the ladder match. I thought something interesting here. My girlfriend walked by the room when Zarya was making her entrance, and she asked me, is that Jojo Siwa? I don't know if you know who that is.
No.
Someone out there. Instantly, I was like, oh, I do see it. And now I can't unsee it. So I kind of wish she never said that. So these two start off, Lash Legend and Zarya. They start slugging it off. There's a big exchange when Zarya rocks her and Lash comes back with this huge slapping chop to the chest. They start going back and forth. I thought Lash kept up here, if not out-chopped Zarya on this exchange. Zarya keeps getting shook here by Lash and eventually gets hit with a pump kick. We go to commercial break. Booker T is just geeking out. I don't know what I say geeking because he kept going geek, 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 geek. I don't know if he was doing Quagmire or something, but he's just on it, I guess. We see when we come back from break, Lash is again rocking Zarya with these forearms, looks pretty great, and then puts her in a torture rack. And then I guess I'll accept this outburst from Booker, who's shouting out his pal Lex Luger with the torture rack here. We see then the Irish curse backbreaker type move from Lash Legend for a near fall. She goes for a power bomb, but it's countered into a Rana, followed by a choke slam from Lash, though. She comes back for a 2 count. The spear from Zarya and the F5, and Zarya puts Lash Legend away and advances to the ladder match. But I got to shout out Lash Legend for bringing it to Zarya. I mean, Zarya's gimmick is she's the big crusher or whatever, but I thought Lash was the one doing the dishing out here with those chops and the forearms and stuff. So I'm happy Zarya won, but kind of bummed maybe Lash isn't in the match.
Yeah, I like how they booked this match. They gave majority of it to Lash Legend, and I think they've done a really good job with her of, picking moments to just really show off her strength. I always think back to the moment with Otis a year or so ago, but they made her look really impressive here, even in defeat, and kind of Zarya just overcoming the big monster, just outpowering her right at the end. I think Zarya is a good pick to maybe win this whole thing, win the ladder match. Yeah. But yeah, I thought Lash looked good here. I'm kind of with you though. We had the tag match, was it last week with Metaphor? And I kind of want them to get behind these two a bit more. Maybe it's time they just move up as a tag team. Because they take a lot of L's on NXT and they've been around quite a lot and they're a bit too established for that. But I enjoyed this match.
Yeah, no, I did too. And I think Lash is getting a lot better. Zarya, we've seen in the tag, I've been enjoying it. I imagine we'll get a segment later, but I also imagine Sol Ruca is also added to this ladder match. And I mean, her in the ladder match sounds crazy. So the two of them, maybe that's where they could, bump heads and start beefing there. But I thought this was pretty fun. We go backstage. Briggs and Inamura, they're watching the episode of NXT. I guess they found a TV backstage. Shout out Inamura wearing his vest that he got from Briggs, but also his WWE logo shirt. Still wearing this shirt. Every week he goes out of his way to make sure he could wear any shirt he wants, but he's wearing the basic WWE logo they give him when
it's not even the Performance Center or an NXT one. It's WWE just
logo.
WWE. Love it.
He says, "Stand and Deliver. I want to be on that show. Big dreams, big promise." And Briggs is like, "Yeah, we'll get there. Don't worry. I promise." And Wes and his boys backstage are kind of laughing and snickering at them like, "Keep dreaming, man." And Inamura says, "Wes, I used to watch you. I used to respect you. You used to fight with honor, but you don't anymore. And I noticed that." And he says, maybe tonight you'll learn to fight with honor again. And Wes says, "Yeah, well, how about we get that match? We'll do that. And just like your Stand and Deliver dreams, prepare to be disappointed." So I think this match is announced for next week. Yoshihiki Inamura versus Wesley, and we'll see what happens with these guys. Well, but will either of these guys be on Stand and Deliver? But
yeah, it feels like they've pulled Wes away from the Ricky Saints story.
Yeah.
not say, I mean, we've already joked about it. It's multi-man season. Like there is a chance he could be added, but Wes didn't have anything to do with Saints this week. But I'm looking forward to seeing Inamura in singles action. I think we've only really got a glimpse of him in tag. So, and Wesley's a great opponent. So yeah, I'm kind of interested in that.
Will he wear the WWE shirt out to his match next week? Tune in to find out. Yeah, we'll have to see. He'll wear the vest, that's for sure. But that's a different story. We see coming up next, Dark State Intel with the D'Angelo family. One of my favorite. It's not technically a match graphic, but this is up there as one of the weirdest next graphics. Like this family, like, okay, who are these random Italian men? Are they even Italian? We'll find out. Before we get to that, we do see briefly Kalani backstage talking to Ava, and she's cut off pretty quickly by Roxanne, who's like, oh, that sounds like this match sounds like it would be perfect for me, this ladder match. And Kalani says, over my dead body. They start to argue, and Ava says, well, funny enough, only one of you can be in the match because you're against each other later tonight, and the winner will be added to the ladder match. So Roxanne versus Kalani later tonight, which sounds good.
I'm getting a little bit confused with Kalani. Like they've given her an edge, but I don't know if they want her to be a heel. Like they're trying to make her a babyface with an edge, but she's bordering on becoming quite unlikable and not in a particularly sort of heelish way either. So I think they maybe need to watch that a little bit. Obviously, this was her against a heel in Roxanne Perez, where she's taking the babyface sort of role. But I feel they need to stick to where they want her to be right now, because it's just making her be like a bit unlikable.
Yeah, she is becoming pretty unlikable, but I guess that's her just having this a bit of a mean streak. We'll see. I do think a full heel turn eventually will come from this. But we go to the D'Angelo family, Dark State Intel. So we see in a back room somewhere, probably meat hanging somewhere, we see the Italians, we see the family sitting down, and the D'Angelo family have been told by Tony last week to get some information and intel on this Dark State faction here in NXT. So we see Luca, who starts off, he's got some information on Dion Lennox, and he references Lennox being a former linebacker.
Yeah, I like what he said here. He was like, this Dion guy's been pretending to be a bookworm all this time. He's actually this hot-headed linebacker with a psychology degree. It's like, okay.
And then, yeah, this was so, just off the top, this was so weird. They're using the D'Angelo family to give us a bio on this other faction. It's a very bizarre way of doing it, but this is the only reason for this is they're explaining, giving backstory to these guys other than the guys telling us themselves. You know what I mean?
I didn't hate it because this group are a group of unknowns, really. Like Dion Lennox is the only one who's had actual NXT TV time. Normally when you're kind of, debuting a group like this, like Mystery Attackers, they're people who have then formed together, and it's like, oh, it's these guys. So I actually kind of liked this as a way to say who everyone is. But it is funny within the context of wrestling. I just wish you did this with some of the other goofy gimmicks we've had in the past. Like Duke Hudson, turns out he's not a poker player. He's actually this Aussie bloke or like whatever,
Yeah.
Some of the ridiculous ones. But it is funny just reading through everything. It's like, okay, how much digging did you do? Because I'm pretty sure we could have just found this online pretty easily.
Well, it's funny you say that because it's exactly where everything here is word for word from their wiki.
Right.
They're talking about linebacker for some team.
They all played football pretty much.
Yeah. D1. Fuck yeah, I guess so. Just you know what? I don't think I like this. I didn't like this because I just thought it was too cheesy, but it was you laughing like, oh, he's not just a bookworm, because then you have Tony who's like, oh, psychology, meaning he's a strong guy and mentally strong. I'm like, oh my God, stop giving them the rub. You're the one who's promoting them. It's just so bizarre, but I get it, but still it's weird. They talk about the next member. So that's Dion Lennox. Then they're talking about who is this? Osiris Griffin, who also guess what? Also played football. JR would love this group so far. JR is like just fucking eating barbecue thinking about this group.
I
mentioned
love
155
There's the line
tackles.
from Rizzo when they bring up Osiris Griffin. Rizzo just goes, "They keep getting bigger, Don."
Ridiculous. They mentioned that this guy's broken people's ribs while playing football, so he's a big boy and pretty strong. They talk about Cutler James here being from Duke University. This is where Tony D'Angelo just shits on Duke University. A bad few weeks for Duke. Between this and the White Lotus season 3 gun scene, Duke has just been hit really hard. They might be suing White Lotus for a specific scene, but yeah, Duke here being just shit on by I guess Tony D's actually got some beef with Duke because he just was really mean to them. So no disrespect to Duke. They mentioned this guy Cutler James did Spartan races where he would like carry trees and run through fire, and they call him a wannabe John Wick. So what
unlimited gas tank.
Unlimited gas tank. Cutler James, John Wick. Nice. And then the last one here, Shaquan Sugars. They say he's the wild card of the group. He didn't earn his degree in school. He earned his degree in the streets. He turned down Harvard, and he's one smooth talker. This feels like a dating show. This feels like contestant number 1 used to go to Duke. Contestant number 2.
They kind of put over Saquon as almost the leader. They say that he's very good at befriending people and getting what they want out of him before dumping them and putting them to the side. And he's the guy that's talked the most in this group. Right. So I get the feeling he's kind of the leader here.
So let us know which one of these bachelors that you'd want to take home. I get the way like this is a way to explain it. I just think it's kind of goofy with the mafia people doing it for us. I imagine they have a feud with this group going forward, considering we have 3 wrestlers here and there's 4 of them. Like we could have multi-man matches back and forth, but at least we got like an insight on them. But also I feel like maybe it shouldn't have been them to do it. Maybe it should have been like,
I don't know. It's goofy, but this is very much within the world that they've created with the D'Angelos for the last 3 years. So I kind of feel these are the right people to kind of expose them. Like they have been attacked by them already, so they do have beef. I don't know. It is goofy, but within the world of NXT and the D'Angelos, I thought it made sense, and it was a better way than just, commentary just going, "Oh, this guy played football." I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. He's not anymore.
Whatever Tony said here, he said another funny line, like couple meatballs wanting TV time. They had to get their one Italian food reference in there. So we'll see more what happens with Dark State. And
he said they're not that. He said there's more to them than that. That they are actually skilled assassins. Yeah.
We'll see what happens with Dark State. But great intel from the family. Like where do they get this information? This is some deep stuff. They must have got Siino's DM popping or something, because where did they dig this out of? Pretty wild, pretty smart of the family. We go to Hank and Tank backstage. We cut from one goofy thing to these 2 guys wearing Pretty Deadly's gear. Hank and Tank. Did we call this? We may have called this. Hank and Tank have befriended Pretty Deadly, yes boy, and they are wearing I don't even know what to call this. It's not a crop top. Like in some way, I guess it is. They're wearing the gear, but they realized, you know what, this isn't going to work. But Pretty Deadly say, "Yes, boy, feel it." We haven't heard that one in a while. Yes, boy. He then says like they're not feeling it, and no quarter catch crew walk by who they're facing later, and they laugh at them and they say, "You guys are going to get your asses kicked." And Hank and Tank then take off the tops and realize this isn't us, but we got to focus on the match. But a visual you might not ever get out of your head, at least for the rest of the night.
I got to admit, I think it was an improvement. Like, look at them there. They look great.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
For Hank and Tank. This is where we get anything from it. We'll get to the match, but
no, we'll get to the match. It was fun. Like just Hank and Tank every week now. This seems to be the cameo with random SmackDown tag teams. Yeah.
Speaking of fun, we see a clip of Conversations Places with Stephanie McMahon. Did you see this clip? Cody Rhodes being very emotional, talking with Stephanie. Did you see any of the CM Punk clips that also came out? They definitely do a lot of pretending a lot of stuff didn't happen.
I've just seen the clip so far. I heard Way's review, and I can't say like I'm probably gonna.
You're not gonna tune in
this? No.
Fighting around the world today with Stephanie McMahon. Tune in. We see a progressive NXT retrospect for the culling. We see Shawn Spears, Izzy Dane, Nico, and Brooks Jensen, and they're talking about rage, aggression, buzzwords. They didn't say that part, but you know they meant it. They say these are used to be negatives, but not to you, says Nico. You helped me find purpose, says Nico and Brooks Jensen. Jensen continues saying, you helped me find my new life. Where Izzy then says, and I swear she said this, I'm not making this up. 4 equal legs to a chair, the culling. And Spears says, I will pass along my knowledge to you just like I will tonight to Ricky Saints. Okay, come on. They did that on purpose. That was a joke. We keep calling them the learning chair. We keep calling him the chairman. He knows people call him the chairman. So, of course, they can't say 3 branches, 4 branches, 1 tree. Instead, 4 legs, 1 chair. Oh, my God.
It is just the schism.
But chairs.
Over again.
They just really fucking love chairs. Sitting down is their MO. Let's go. Wow. That got such a chuckle out of me, man.
I'm kind of over cults in wrestling at this point, and I can't say this one is particularly interesting to me.
What's your cult about? I don't know. We just really love chairs. Maybe JD Vance should join this stable. He likes chairs too, right? Love seats, maybe.
Isn't he couches? Yeah, something like
that. Just like this was so on the nose with the 4 legs, 1 chair. So yeah, you know exactly what these guys are right now. We go to Hank and Tank taking on No Quarter Catch Crew. Hank and Tank versus Tavion and Miles. Miles and Tavion are very fast. I love this tag team. Super quick when they're doing some of the fast moves at the beginning here. Just very in sync. Tavion and Miles, one of my favorite tag teams that we don't see enough of, especially since like they killed it with Fraxium and we kind of been cooling, but I really do love these guys. Hank and Tank do come back though. A leg drop splash combo, very Hardy-esque here. So they're picking up some things. They hit the honk double running splash to one of the guys here. This is where Graves, I think maybe agrees with you, starts shitting on Hank and Tank and calls them a bunch of, and I quote, schlubs. And Vic says, yeah, well, would you rather see them in the Pretty Deadly gear? I think you've already answered that question.
Yes.
Tank is tagged in and hits a belly to belly here on Tavion, which looked really nice. And then Hank is in with a spine buster. They start to do the yes boy. And then there's some sort of like drop kick that is blocked. So Miles hits it. And then eventually the No Quarter Catch Crew hit this RKO Dominator DDT type. I don't know what this was, but a pretty cool looking double team.
Yeah, it's like a TKO into a DDT. Like,
yeah, it's nice.
Team wise. Yeah,
I guess any way we see Miles doing a related move to an RKO, but the No Quarter Catch Crew beat Hank and Tank, and the losing spree of Hank and Tank continues on NXT. Poor guys.
Yeah, fun, quick match between the two teams. They're giving Hank and Tank a lot of time at the moment. And, you know, I think they do that, especially like Tank's hot tags are pretty fun. Where is this going, though? I expect they're going to see more tag teams down the line trying to give advice or whatever. But where is this leading to?
Yeah. Like, do they end up like befriending someone who's maybe like a bit nastier, a bit mean, and maybe they get a mean streak? Like, would that make the most sense? I don't know. They would have to change their gear, and like they've already tried so many different gears, and I feel like we're gonna get more of this where like they're in this losing, there's this slump, and then eventually something happens and clicks where we get the come up of these two. So maybe it'll lead to something good. They have improved, but this didn't blow me away or anything. But like they're getting better, and more so where this goes with Fraxium later having a moment that makes me believe like we could see them in a big, like if they keep losing and then win, we could see them getting a tag title shot, you know.
Yeah.
It could lead to that. we go to our next segment. Well, first we saw a video for Triple H. Shout out Triple H going into the WWE Hall of Fame. Very excited about this. We see Trick Williams comes out to the NXT crowd. Trick wearing his whoop that toque. He says that I called Oba Femi out, and he still isn't standing here with me. It's because he knows that Trick Williams is the man, and I fought for this. I have sacrificed everything for this. I even lost a brother for this. I think referring to Carmelo Hayes. He then says, I gave everything here in NXT. There was the whoop that era, and then it became the Trick Williams show. And this might be the CW, but every Tuesday it's the TW network. Very great line there. Quick. Instead of Oba coming out, this is when he's interrupted by Javon Evans. And right away, Trick just lil bros him here. Like, no, I don't want to hear what you have to say. And just kind of crapping all over him here. And it's not your time. You know, when I told you, you'll know when it's your time. It's not that right now. And Javon says, I know why you're mad. Last time you were me. You were the one. You were trying to be the one. And you didn't know who you were. But you know what? I think you know who you are now, Trick, says Javon. And then Javon says, I know who you are. You're Carmelo Hayes. Ooh, the crowd goes very turns on Trick here, just booing him like, ooh, not boo, but ooh, damn. This is when Oba Femi comes out. And he says, I can't believe, Javon, you're talking all this. Both of you need to say this to my face. They all start to get in each other's faces. And Oba says, you know what? It's my turn to speak. Shut up. And says that I want to talk to both of you. When Trick says, you know what, Javon, you can excuse yourself. Please get out of here. Which Javon gets really upset at. And Oba says, you know what, Trick, maybe if you spent less time talking, you'd still be champion. You both want a shot? This is when Ava comes out. Not sure why. Maybe if she just let him finish his sentence, I think maybe we would have got to where we got here. But Ava comes out and says, I have this great idea. And Oba's like, yeah, I was about to say it, but okay. Triple threat match at Stand and Deliver. Main event, Oba Femi versus Trick versus Javon. So it will be a triple threat. After this is announced, Trick levels Javon. Oba attacks him when the lights start to flicker. Dark State appear. They attack Oba. They attack Javon, but they don't attack Trick. When we see finally Trick left alone in the ring, they have a stare down. Is Trick the leader? Maybe not, because Dark State attacks Trick, hit him with the dark bomb, whatever that is, the high spirits shield bomb, and level Trick Williams here, standing tall. So a lot to unpack here because we are going the direction of the main event we thought with the triple threat, but also is Trick Williams the leader when these guys attacked him? I don't know, maybe aces and eights kind of scenario here, but what did you think of this segment?
I really like the promo segment. I've liked Trick's kind of slow turn into a heel, and I felt kind of solidified here with him intentionally hitting Javon Evans. I think Javon, for me, is going in as the favorite of this match, as he's being the one that's overlooked by the other two. I liked it a lot, and I think this is a triple threat I'm kind of looking forward to, even though we've got a lot of them. I feel this one has built up naturally. It's built up in a pretty natural way to get to this position. And the Dark State thing, like I'm not into this group yet. I do think their finisher looks cool. I do like that kind of toss shield bomb thing they're doing. I think Trick took it really well. I guess like maybe they don't have a leader. I don't know. I don't really like those angles where the guy gets beaten up and he's like, no, I just let them beat me up because I'm actually one
just
of
a power bomb. Come on. It was just a power bomb.
It's got some welly on it, that power bomb. But
I think it could lead to it's trying to fool us. I think that might be some tomfoolery afoot. I think they did this on purpose to then reveal Trick as a leader.
It's so
I
so low.
Yeah, I don't want
hate that shit. Like
I don't want it.
This for me kind of like squash those, and I think it would be cheap if they were to go that way now. I love this match, the triple threat. I think it's going to be great between these three. I actually think Trick especially needs a Javon in there to kind of make this. It's going to be a much better match with Javon in there, but I think they're building the animosity between the three of them up really nicely.
You know what? I think this could be an awesome triple threat match. This could potentially be the show stealer itself and the main event. I think we wanted Trick and Oba. We didn't get it. We got the 3-way with Eddie. That was weird. We still never got the 1-on-1. We might not ever at this stage. Like, I don't know, unless, of course, Trick does kind of turn full heel and then we do go to that match. But I think this will make the match a lot more interesting. I don't think necessarily Javon is going to win it. I think if anything, Trick wins it by, nefarious means. But I think this will add, like, Javon is the secret weapon. Javon's a bit of a wild card of NXT, like 20 years old and already has like a bunch of matches under his belt and is only going to get better. So I'm thinking this is a great main event for Xan to deliver. I think adding Javon, adding the 20-year-old makes this a better, stronger main event.
Yeah.
And I'm for it.
I like the callbacks to Carmelo Hayes a lot as well. And that kind of Trick is slowly becoming him. I think it's a great way to eventually get Trick back on onto the main roster, back with Carmelo Hayes. And he can even be like, you were right, and that's how you pair him back up. Like, he saw the light, he saw Carmelo's vision, that kind of thing.
Put them back together.
Because I think they both need each other on the main roster, at least to start with.
I would like to see that for sure. We go backstage. Andre Chase, sad Andre, who it took a whole week for a doctor to tell him, hey, you got some cracked ribs.
Poor guy. Like, it's all this needed was last week at NXT.
Yeah,
but
they didn't.
They're like, no, let's check on you. Yeah, you've had broken ribs for a week, Andre.
So poor Andre Chase here. They're saying, you got a cracked rib. He's like, hey, doc, how long till I get better? And they go, sorry, there's no time frame on cracked ribs. Do you have a ride home? And Andre Chase is like, no, actually, I don't have a ride home. I'm all alone. When Uriah Connors, Cale Dixon show up with a wheelchair and they say, don't worry, we got you, Andre Chase. Wow, what a bunch of good guys here. And
again, we weren't there last week to take you to the hospital or take you to the
trainer's room.
But
a week later,
now we are. A
week later.
We just needed to. We've been waiting. We've been hanging around in the corners while you've been around, and we've just been waiting for you to say I'm all alone, so we can just go, no, you're not.
Am I meant to believe that this guy's been wearing the same clothes for this entire week? Like,
he's been wearing the same clothes for 5 years.
Like, I know down in America, you guys don't have the best health care and the best health coverage and all that. But you're telling me this guy had to wait a week for this doc to see him? Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. I think we have our new Chase U. I know we have a bunch of frat houses in wrestling already, but this is the new Chase U where Andre's found his new friends. I just love anytime. Oh, I'm all alone. And then it's like, no, you're not. We got you. So who knows what's going to happen with Andre Chase. As they're wheeling him, they go, stop, because they see Jordan Grace and Jada Parker brawling through the backstage area. I believe this match is announced for next week. But we go from that to Fraxium, the tag champs here, with Hank and Tank hot off their loss. And Nathan Frazier, a bit of a prick here, says, I think you guys just lost it, lads. You just lost it. And Axiom is like, yo, bro, like, why you being like that? And Frazier's like, man, I'm just being honest. Sorry, guys. When Fraxium are now interrupted by this new tag team here, shout out Evolve, Wednesdays on Tubi. Welcome to NXT. Swipe Right. Brad Baylor and Ricky Smokes. They say, wow, it's so awesome to be here on NXT. You see, Fraxium, we're the new young tag team on Evolve. And Fraxium, you're kind of like our Hardy Boys. And it would be interesting to see how we measure up. There's a lot of talent here in NXT. And, I think, we want to see how we'll measure up. And they agree that maybe we will have a match next week. And then they kind of look by and they see Roxanne Perez walking for her match, and they go, oh, NXT's got a lot of talent here. She's a prodigy, but she's also a smoke show, faux show, bro. And they walk off. So welcome the most Gen Z tag team. These guys look like 16-year-olds here on NXT, but they won me over with absolutely hating them. Bro, faux show, bro. Talking about frat boys right here. Their tag team name is Swipe Right. I gotta respect it. Terrible, but I can't wait.
I tried watching Evolve. I put on the first episode of Evolve, and
was it pure Gallus?
It started off with just Brindley Reese annoying the fuck out of me, and then I saw these two, especially this Brad Baylor guy, and I was like, nope, this ain't for me. Like, look at this dude. Look at what, like, young Eric Roberts right there.
Whoa, he does look like Megan in the chat saying Baylor's 20 and Smokes is 24. So they're not 16, but they're still pretty young. But yeah, all I know is they Swipe Right. That's a pretty good name. And Faux Show Bro, that's a great catchphrase. So far, let's see what you guys got.
They need to be feuding with Uriah and Kale, I guess. But
the frat boys.
I guess they're doing their job right because, they did it so well that I just turned off Evolve and never looked back. But now I guess I'm going to have to talk about them more. But interesting, like we're getting a bit of Evolve integration. We'll see whether these are going to be regularly featured or whether it's just kind of a one-off little thing and a bit of cross-promoting with their other brand in Evolve. But and I'm sure also, like, Fraxium, they're the best team you can go up against right now. We're 2 weeks away, though. What is the Fraxium match?
Like we should probably know that. Is it Hank and Tank off that like one backstage segment? Is it Hank and Tank?
It could be, but they've lost like every match they've had. There's not been a tease of Hardys or Machine Guns really. Like I don't know.
They've kind of dropped the Hardys thing. They haven't they didn't talk about them since beating Fraxium. So I kind of hope it is that, but we shall see. And I haven't necessarily. I already watch a lot of wrestling. I'd say it's fair to say we probably watch a lot more wrestling than the average Joe. And I just feel like Evolve doesn't necessarily feel like I have to watch it, but it does. It is cool that they like. I fucking love Tubi. First of all, Tubi free movies all the time, and now they got a wrestling show. Why not? And I see some people in the chat. Steven in the chat saying Evolve is pretty meh, but Timothy Thatcher appeared last week, and that was pretty cool. And I know they promoted Gallus this week and some others. So basically all the guys that train people, like we know Thatcher and Gallus are known for training wrestlers and stuff. So I guess that's a good thing. But if Swipe Right was supposed to have me go, oh my God, look at these guys, they nailed it. So let's see what they can do. And will we swipe left next week when we watch their match? We see Roxanne taking on Kalani Jordan. This is a ladder match qualifier. These two go at it pretty fast action here with a lot of different pinning attempts going into picture-in-picture. We got Roxanne doing like different flips and then starts to taunt Kalani. When we come back, the ref is checking on the ring skirt. When is Roxanne biting her hand or like twisting and wrenching on the arm and the hand of Kalani, and then starts to stomp on it, hits a suplex and works on it again. We get a second picture-in-picture here where eventually Kalani comes back with a one-armed flip here as she starts to attack a one-armed cartwheel and then a corkscrew plancha to the outside. Back in the ring, hits like an execution DDT faceplant, goes for the one-of-a-kind but misses it. This is when Roxanne runs the ropes and hits the Mako Satomura scorpion kick or one of those moves. One of Mako's
like the cartwheel into the knee on the back of the neck.
The Kota Ibushi type thing here, but somehow Kalani kicks out of it. Eventually, though, it's Kalani who kicks out the knee of Rox, hits a DDT, and then hits the one-of-a-kind moonsault. And then what I'd say is an upset. Kalani Jordan pins Roxanne Perez to advance to Stand and Deliver. Meaning, what does this mean for Roxanne Perez? I enjoyed the match. I thought these two had some good stuff. Kalani is on her way to be, when Roxanne leaves us, we'll have Kalani Jordan, who could definitely fill that spot. She's getting better and better each time. We talked about the edge and the heel turn, which will eventually complete the package here. But when Roxanne did the Miko Satomura move and then lost this match, you know where my brain went. Please, Shawn, Triple H. Give us the match, please. Would you just give me the match? Just for me, please. Please.
It's a weird one because that was the last time we saw Mako, and she's retiring very soon. But I feel we've brought this up as a possibility ever since that match. That's a match you can go back to. I I thought it was a good match. I'm pleased Kalani won. I don't think Roxanne needs to be in this North American title picture. It's kind of weird because she moved up to the main roster. She was at Elimination Chamber. She seemed to be feuding with Bayley. Obviously, there was that was it triple threat or four-way match, and then it's kind of been dropped cold. Now Bayley is facing Lyra on Raw next Monday, and whether that could be something where
we go
Roxanne shows up, and storyline wise, she tried to go after one more title in NXT. She failed. So now she's going to interfere and try and be involved in the Intercontinental picture. It's something you could heat up quite quickly, reheat up quickly with Bayley. Or we have Roxanne, next week being like, Ava, this is my last stand and deliver. Give me a match. And you go the Mako route. I'm really not sure because you'd figure she's going to be involved somehow this weekend. Like, she's a big star in NXT. She has kind of made her main roster debut. You should have her on one or the other of the shows, but still no direction yet. So I am curious.
Shawn Michaels, do the right thing. Mako Satomura, Roxanne Perez, stand and deliver. It's the right thing to do. I see Megan in the chat going off again saying, why not Julia versus Mako? I'd take that too. I'm pretty sure we maybe have seen that. I definitely think Julia might be injured with whatever happened with the titles and stuff, but Roxanne doing that move tonight was a tip off that, like, hey, wait, maybe we should go to that match. Like, I would like to see it.
They briefly mentioned Julia with this whole title picture. They're like, and you've got to wonder what Julia's thinking about this,
right.
But no real indication of what's going on with her.
Yeah. So
I kind of feel like maybe she won't be on Stand and Deliver, but I don't know.
Yeah. If Julia, maybe there is some smoke to the fire of the injury. You couldn't tell from the match with Stephanie Vicaire, but like
it sounds like she was just banged up, like
right.
Not necessarily like injured, but just needs to heal for a bit.
Either way, I need to see Mako one more time. Roxanne, it would be great. So I'm putting my happy thoughts together. I want to see that. We see backstage Stevie Turner, Robert Stone, and Ava. Stevie is the GM of Evolve. Is that correct? Is that what she says here? She says, "Oh, I'm so sorry about Swipe Right. I didn't know that they would show up tonight." And Robert Stone says, "Yeah, you should go deal with them over on Tubi tomorrow night." She says, "Don't worry, I will." And Ava says, "Don't worry. Well, they have the match next week against Fraxium, so we'll see what they got." But then mentions that she has an idea for Dark State and that next week it will be 3 of the members of Dark State versus the 3 men in the men's main event of Stand and Deliver. So Oba, Trick, and Javon taking on Dark State. And then this is where we cut from that to Ricky Starks being interviewed. And he says that the attack from Shawn Spears, he's lit a fire underneath me. And you don't know nothing about me, Jack. You might say you learned all these things and we may all have history, but I am the future. You're looking at the future. And you took a long time to get gold here, but I'm going to do it in record time. The revolution will be televised. So Ricky says he's going to walk away as champion tonight. So a lot to pack in here. So the next week, I guess the main event is the Oba, Trick, and Javon versus Dark State. And not Top Flight. Sorry. Swipe Right, Top Flight. all these tag teams. Yeah. We see Zarya and Sol Ruka. They're hyped about Zarya winning the qualifier when she's talking about how she's going to win this title at Stand and Deliver. When Kalani comes back after her match and says, "You're going to win. Did you see what I just did? I just beat one of the best wrestlers in NXT ever. So I'm going to win the ladder match." And Sol says, "Sorry guys, but I'm going to win." And Zarya's like, "You're not even in the match." And Sol says, "Yeah, well, next week I have a qualifier." So I do see Sol Ruka being added to this match, because how would you not have Sol Ruka in a 6-person ladder match? Come on, that'd just be silly. And
we finally have a team name, Zaruka. Zaruka that Veruca.
Zaruka?
Zaruka.
Zaruka. Yes. That's gotta, that sounds like it would be a word, and it must mean something. It's just their names together. It's their ship name, I guess. But yeah, it's don't buy the t-shirt. This is over. Buy after Stand and Deliver. Yes.
I see. I I guess maybe Soul winning this for Zarya to then murder her after the match.
Interesting.
And because we don't need this tag team. We don't need this tag team in NXT. Like, let's get to the feud. And I think this ladder match is the good way to kick that off, I think.
I think Zarya should win by, like, in the last second, destroying Soul to win.
Yep.
Or maybe the other way around. But either way, maybe one of them winning wouldn't be the worst thing. But I think I still prefer Soul Crusher as their tag team name. But Zaruka. We see a video from Dark State. They say, no one knows how we're going to move. No one knows how we're going to strike. No one is safe. And next week...
And we will play football together.
They say next week, we about to take off. So maybe they're top flight. But yes, Dark State in action next week, debut.
I think it's a big spot for them because I don't think this group's been received well so far. I do think it's been very generic. I think Saquon Sugars seems to be the standout so far. Like I have liked him when he's been talking, but everything from the look to the sort of the entering through the crowd to the beatdowns, we've seen this all before, and it didn't help that it went very cold after their debut, that we didn't see them for a little bit. So they really need to impress in ring next week. Otherwise, this, like, it really hinges on this. They're up against three sort of top stars in NXT. Hopefully it's a good match and we can start turning this thing around a bit and actually make something of these guys.
Yeah, like we need to. I feel like having them attack a lot of guys so far. Again, it's following the Shield blueprint of just like, we'll do the exact same thing, even the power bomb. But I feel like hopefully they get set off in the right direction. I'm still a little fearful Trick is the leader. Some aces and eights, Bully Ray, Russo Swerve is potentially in the cards. It's Vegas. You never know. You never know. Well, we go to our main event.
What about a Rusev Swerve? And we'll bring in Miro to be the leader of this group because he probably played football once.
Yeah, book it. We go to our main event. It is the North American Championship. The champion, Shawn Spears, the leader of the Cullen family. The Culling. Shawn Spears, the champ, defending against the challenger, Ricky Saints here. Booker T going off, screaming, what the hell, for some reason. Out come the Culling. What did we think of Brooks Jensen's beautiful shirt here? I feel like this is a shirt you would wear.
Oh, Brooks looked great. Yeah, the haircut's good. Like everything's coming together.
Hugs and kisses.
But Brooks. Yes, this shirt was beautiful. But I think you were saying about Booker. Booker was just going off on Saints. Like, what has he done? I've only seen him in a tag match and a singles match. He hasn't been overly impressive so far. Why is he getting a title shot? Why is everyone going mad about him? There does seem times where Booker is like, obviously he plays the color commentator. He leans heel in his commentary, but there are times when you hear him in his podcasts and things, and he also does sound very like this. And you wonder if a little bit of truth comes through as well.
Look, we've talked about how Booker T on commentary isn't everyone's cup of tea. I think we've been beaten into submission of him being here, and we get a sick enjoyment of hearing his, as we call him, going off on one and whatever. But I think Vic does a good job of keeping him, contained here of, being Booker, but I do think his stuff outside, whether it's his podcast appearances or reality of wrestling or whatever, like, it does seem like he might rub people the wrong way. I think you're referring to, obviously, right now, there's stuff between him and Swerve in AEW. There's been some things being said about this and that. Swerve is not the only one to have said things about Booker T in the past. In fact, current NXT people have wondered publicly on social media, hey, what's Booker's deal with me? I'm thinking back to Idris Enofe, who's publicly been like, I don't know why Booker hates us so much, but like, what the fuck, essentially. And you've heard stuff about like the Young Bucks saying like, oh, because we didn't kiss the ring, like he shits on us and hates us. And I do get a bit of back and forth, and Booker's always been a Vince guy, like
he's a company man, isn't he?
He's always been a Vince guy. Like he's he's let Vince say some things in front of him on TV before. He's always been a Vince guy. So, of course, he's going to be a company man when it comes to WWE. But it is weird when he's like, okay, it's one thing to be heel commentary. It's a show. But he does seem to like just when he shits on people, it comes across like he just is like shitting on them. And then people are like, yo, what did I ever do to you? So, Ricky, you want some advice here? The parking lot's dangerous. And if you want Booker T to like you, reality of wrestling. It's not that far. Texas, I think, right? Go take a booking. He'll be your biggest fan if you go defend that title over there, I'm sure. Ricky Saints, Shawn Spears, North American title. Ricky right out the gate runs and jumps, attacks Spears with a plancha here and just starts punching and pummeling him. He's pissed at the attack recently. This is where Ricky starts to walk the guardrail, starts to do a little bit of style and profile and old school here, kisses his hand and then touches this woman in the audience who just absolutely loses it. Did you see this?
It's his old school, isn't it? He does the old school where he's like posing as he's doing it, but this time on the barricade and flirting with the women in the front.
Hilarious. She was smitten. We go to picture in picture. Spears now gains control. He starts working the back. He slams Ricky onto the steps ringside. Eventually they go back into the ring and we come back. Ricky is up top with Spears and hits a superplex jackhammer from Ricky Saints here. Very nice. I thought this was pretty cool.
This crowd woke up for this. This got the holy shit chant. Yeah. I love how it's teasing just the classic superplex, but turning into the jackhammer. Looked very nice.
There's a spine buster in there. They eventually go back to the outside when Saints hits a running tornado DDT off the apron. Looked pretty cool. This is when Nico distracts the ref. Then Izzy slides Spears the title in the ring, and he smacks Ricky in the head. It looked like he nailed him with this for a 1-2. Ricky kicks out. I definitely bought here. I was thinking, no, they couldn't do Ricky this dirty. They didn't. Ricky kicks out. The crowd definitely getting into this now. They're cheering for Ricky here. It's Spears who goes for the C4, but Ricky counters it and hits his own. This is when Jensen's in, but he gets sent out. Nico gets sent out, and then eventually there's a spear to Spears. Hey, Spears got speared here. And then the Rochambeau for the 1-2-3, the running dominator type move. Ricky Saints is your new North American champion here in NXT. He said what he was going to do. He said, you took you forever to do that, and I'll come in and do it right away. But his moment is overshined because as he celebrates, he is attacked with a twisted grin of an old friend or foe, Ethan Page, who grabs the title standing tall over a beaten down Ricky Starks. Ethan Page holding up the title as NXT goes off the air. But new champ Ricky Saints, what do you think?
I thought it was a really good match in the main event here. I thought they both worked really hard. There were some really cool spots, great near falls with all the Cullen interferences and stuff. I thought it was good, and it was Ricky's best showing so far. Happy they got the title on him. It is a little bit of hot shotting with Spears only just winning this, but I think it makes a whole lot of sense. I like that you're playing off this story with Ethan Page, where it's basically both came over from AEW, both got championship matches right away, but Ricky has now beaten that record by a week. So it's like all this stuff. And I think there was the line, was it Uriah Connors last week was like, hey, Ricky Starks is doing an Ethan Page, but he's doing Ethan Page better than Ethan Page. So I like how that's playing into it. I thought it was a solid match and a good angle. Now, whether we see Spears still involved in this, whether we see Wesley involved, like, are we going towards a 4-way, or is it Page versus Starks? Sorry, Page versus Saints.
I thought I'd be the one to crack. I mean, I probably did already, but
the crowd cracked because they were chanting Ricky Starks during the match as well.
You know what? I thought it was pretty fun. I think it's the good idea to have Ricky win. I think maybe some people be like, oh, they're doing the thing where the new guy comes in and wins right away. But like, I think it's right. We've been saying we need something big in NXT, and I think he's a good character. And I think he pulled a good match here with Shawn Spears. It was fine. It wasn't anything crazy, but I love that jackhammer. I love the finish where I did buy for a second that he was losing because it made sense. But yeah, whether we go to Ethan versus Ricky one-on-one, whether we add Wes in there with Shawn, make it a 4-way, kind of like the IC title right now on Raw. But I think Ricky versus Ethan is also like a pretty big one-on-one match, I guess, for Stand and Deliver. So I
prefer the singles match. I think I would like to see Wesley involved in something, but I think this will feel bigger. And I think just the promos, it's a shame in a way we've only got 2 weeks to build this, because I think these two could have some excellent like face-to-face promo segments to build up this match as well.
Yeah. What were the crowd chanting after Ethan Page? Were they chanting furry butthole?
It sounded like that's what I heard. I heard furry butthole, and I don't get why. It must be my ears, but just before
I can't think of what it was.
Were they saying furry butthole? And you're like, yeah, I thought
furry
so.
Butthole. Like what? I don't understand. They're chanting Tony fumbled. Tony fumbled, not furry butthole.
I thought they were seeing something that we weren't watching. As Ethan's facing the hard back cam and everyone's behind them.
Furry. I like that better.
Furry butthole. Yeah, we'll get that chant over one day.
I hate that. I hate that chant. Like what? Like
what,
these guys want to. No, I love that one. In fact, I might start cheering that at crowds just because it might confuse people. But yeah, furry butthole. I mean, it's 2 AEW people here. I guess the tribalism continues, but I didn't mind this episode of NXT. There were some things I didn't like, but at least we know some direction for Stand and Deliver. I think having the main event sorted out, we kind of knew the direction, but now it's solid. The triple threat, Oba, Trick, Javon, that'll be really good. We do imagine it's Stephanie Vicaire versus Jordan Grace. I think that's the direction. That should be pretty good. The women's 6-woman ladder match, that's going to be good. Hopefully Mako versus Roxanne. I'm fantasy booking. Ethan Page versus Ricky. It's shaping up to be a pretty good show. Oh, and Fraxium versus someone.
Yes,
I think it'll be a good show. What did you think of this week?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I really enjoyed the main event. I really enjoyed the Roxanne Kalani match. Again, like we've got some direction going on. Don't like the vacating of the North American title, and not overly thrilled about a ladder match. Just we get so many of them, but it's Stand and Deliver season, so it's going to happen. I was positive about this week's. It's really now, I think, going in Stand and Deliver, it is Roxanne, Fraxium, and Wes Lee are the question marks of where they end up, but everything else is looking pretty clear at the moment.
Yeah, I do imagine Roxanne wrestles WrestleMania weekend, whether it's Stand. I think it would be a good send-off and a storybook. Again, this is just me fantasy booking, but I do want to see that Mako match one more time. So would love to see that. That would be a nice little cherry on top, as well as Fraxium, like teasing Hank and Tank. I kind of hope that's not the direction, but I'd like it to be the Hardys.
And I don't want to just do a multi-tag team match as well. Like either bring someone in from like do a TNA crossover, do a main roster crossover or something.
Machine Guns, Hardys. There's a few options, but I guess we will see. There's how many more weeks? A few more weeks? 3 more weeks? 2 more weeks.
Yeah.
Wow. Holy crap. So we will see. But there you go. That was NXT. Let us know if you agree, disagree. We have a feedback thread. We have a Poisonrana social media frenzy. You can go to Facebook, like the page, but you can find the Poisonrana Facebook group you can join, and we post fun things like wrestling memes and wrestling stuff, as well as feedback threads for some of our shows, and then we read them here on the show. I for some reason can't find it right now. Davey, do you have it open?
Yes,
Facebook's weird sometimes.
I've got it right here. We've got one from Magan who says, Stephanie Vicaire carrying the weight of 2 worlds wasn't going to last as she became a title lighter. The field for the ladder match could be good. Roxanne Perez feels like a college grad who stuck around a bit too long. Kalani got the rub anyways. Roxy got to be on Raw next week. Her and Bailey need to pick up where they left off. Zarya versus Lash Legend was surprisingly good. I'm not sold on Dark State yet, but that D'Angelo family skit did provide some decent exposition. Javon Evans didn't look like a boy amongst men by entering the Trick Oba feud. Nice to see Swipe Right pop up. Getting a match with Fraxium is going to bode well for their prospects. Pardon the pun, since they're on the ID program. Haha. The 6-man tag against Legacy Cappuccino Cartwheel on Evolve a few weeks ago was very good. Ricky Saints was here for a little over 6 weeks and he became North American champion real quick. NXT didn't waste any time to strap the rocket to his back. The show going off with the building chant, Tony fumbled, was priceless. A solid show.
Thank you, Megan, as always. And everyone out there listening.
You.
We appreciate, again, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, all the socials, and search Poison Rana in your podcast app to check out all the other shows that we do. Like we said, we talk a lot about some AEWs, some WrestleMania hype, and so much more on all the other shows. And follow along and support for $5. You can become a friend over at patreon.com/PoisonRana. $5 to get access for a whole month to hundreds of different shows. Was Next, retro wrestling reviews, best match ever, movie reviews, and so much more. We will keep you entertained for all the things that you need. We got you covered, and appreciate all the support. Appreciate all the love for some of the pods. The people listening to Champ is Here really appreciate people jumping on. They really seem to love that series, and of course, all the free shows as well. So thank you, everyone out there, for being Postmarks and NXT friends. We will see you. Follow the socials, because we said we have some upcoming live shows, and next Tuesday we won't be going live on Tuesday night, but we will be on the Wednesday. So go give us a follow. And hey, WrestleMania season, postwrestling.com, the best place to keep updated with all the other stuff. I know in a few weeks it's going to be crazy with all the stuff going on. And I know Pollock, Siino, the whole post wrestling community are going to come together and put out some great content. And I know, Davie, I speak for us that we're proud to be a part of post wrestling, and we're very excited. WrestleMania season. So strap in, and to be determined when we do our stand and deliver review, but we'll get to that bridge when we get there with 9:30.
It's already been announced. Yeah, we're doing it
Sunday, right?
Noon on the Sunday.
Okay, excellent. So we're somehow get together and do that, because last plug, if you're in the Toronto area, we are about to sell out our WrestleMania party, both Saturday and Sunday, April 19th and April 20th. That's right. Not only is it WrestleMania, not only is it Easter, it's also 420. So we will be doing a WrestleMania watch party both nights at Gabby's, Poisonrana.ca for links to get tickets. We are almost sold out. We always sell out. We have tons of games, prizes, raffles, wrestling themed drinks, and so much more. We love to party, and we love to see some of you friends out there. So if you are in the GTA Toronto area, don't sleep, because we usually turn people away because we get too packed for these sorts of things. So can't wait to see some of you lovely faces out there. We appreciate the love, and I appreciate you out there.
Appreciate you all.
Appreciate you. I myself, Braden Herrington, Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky at the Bray D.
And you can find me at Davie Portman.
That is it. That is all. Take care. Goodbye. Be safe. Faux show, bro.
100. Ahoy!